My co-author on this paper is Don Green. Don was a member, a partner in the Synergy Productions, which staged the Reggae Sunsplash Festival in Jamaica from 1978 to 1994. Don was also the person to negotiate performance rights and artist rights and royalties, and for filming the festival. And Don and I co-founded the Reggae Sunsplash Preservation Society to preserve, digitize, and create an archive for all of the film, that 300 hours of analog film that Don recorded at the Sunsplash Festival. And we started the project after Superstorm Sandy, when a lot of Don's material, archival material, got damaged. Our research question: when might the strict enforcement of music copyright not be rational? Use theoretical, historical, and public choice methods to analyze the creative destruction in recorded music during the digital revolution. We had three main findings, but in the interest of time for this presentation, we'll just be discussing this first one based on the Sunsplash case study. And yet the rest of the paper puts it in historical context. Here's some of the accomplishments of the Synergy Productions and Sunsplash. Idea to promote off-season tourism was basically successful. So a lot of these, for example, pre-internet direct-to-satellite pay-per-view was bleeding edge and too early to make any money. Contracts for the exploitation of copyright-protected information goods do share a feature of many other contracts. There is often a time dimension involved between when the contract is entered into and when payments are made, and that directly implies that there is almost surely an element of risk involved. We're more interested in uncertainty than risk. So here's the stages of production for, in this example, a streaming event. The original source of value is something which is copyrightable. This is Christian Hanke, 2013, calls this the copyright industries. So the source of value is something as a rendering of a perceivable original expression, which is copyrightable. And then as you go along the stages of production to time zero, allowing the event to take place, you're then managing the copyrights and different stages of production along the value chain. So the way the diagram is set up is that at T0, the entrepreneur has a event that they would like to host, and then they then look out into the future of what needs to be done to make that, manage uncertainty, to make that occur. So along the stages of production, it could be modeling a firm which does everything in-house, or it could be modeling a specific event, could be modeling the entire economy. This would be consumption, and this would be accumulated net investment over time. The idea behind managing uncertainty along the stages of production, and the further out in time there is, the more uncertainty there is based on Frank Knight's 1921 idea that the difference between risk and uncertainty. Risk is the future modeled on the past, but uncertainty is something which is cannot be brought about by replicating past behavior. So the entrepreneur managing uncertainty along the stages of production in conjunction with other entrepreneurs are then creating new value. And that managing uncertainty is what brings profit. We can also look at the stages of production when looking at bottlenecks, for example, so that it has industrial organization applications. Example here, original source of value, there could be a writer's strike, not allowing television and film production to occur. So then in order to manage that bottleneck, you'd have to outsource find another source of creation or use remakes, something like that. Break the writer's strike, or use remakes or some other innovative idea, AI, to make your original, perceivable original expression. Another example is during the COVID era, you had lockdown, so you couldn't have live music. So in music clubs, so some music clubs started streaming events instead of having them in person. Back to the Sunsplash case. So once when Bob Marley performed in Jamaica at the Sunsplash Festival in 1979, it became very popular after that. So the Synergy Productions would fly in on a cargo plane the filming equipment and recording equipment and stage things. And so that every year they would do that. And then the Jamaican state said that, well, why don't we invest in Montego Bay in a permanent home? We call it the Bob Marley Center. And then so the state and Synergy Productions had the agreement that that's what they would do. So Synergy spent all of their capital, most of their capital, on bricks and mortar and technology. And then when when it came time to stage the festival there in 1994, the state refused to live up to their part of the bargain. So that's the ultimate bottleneck is takings, but from the state, or overt nationalization. The more roundabout the stages of production, or the longer that out in time that entrepreneurial decision making can be made, that means the more roundabout the stages of production, the more value the economy can create. It depends on the uncertainty, political and economic uncertainty. So if you have a good rule of law, which encourages investment, well, then you'll get flourishing arts. In 1981, the Jamaican state took over and released on an LP the 1981 Sunsplash recordings. So Synergy negotiated the live performance rights with the individual artists that would appear at the festival. They were offered, if the artist would allow Synergy to record 3 songs at the festival, then the artist could get their performance fee, half their performance fee up front. So they would be paid their performance fee, but they could get another half of their performance fee if Synergy could record 3 of their songs, or they could wait and take a share of a percentage of the royalty. More than 90% of the artists chose the cash option, and this may or may not have something to do with the takings from this album, where the state just took the royalties without an agreement with Synergy, who negotiated the rights with the artists. This is the first of 10 Synergy productions on VHS of the festival. This first one was produced in conjunction with Capital Radio, and became their. It was at the Crystal Palace Park in London, 1984. And so then these VHSs then become digitized and pirated and put on the internet as bootlegs. There are increasingly more and increasingly popular bootlegs of the performances to which Synergy negotiated the performance rights, especially on YouTube. Some of these have millions of views. Taking the original master analog recordings from these concerts and digitizing them, and then putting this watermark on the plus there's a lot of other footage that was never released on VHS. So, and then we're digitizing the original footage and putting a watermark on it to give it authenticity value. This shows the creative destruction in the recorded music industry, analog or physical media, which with the internet revolution has rapid declines until the mid years, rapid declines. And then here you can see the buildup of the internet digital economy, which during the COVID era had such a spike of streaming that now digital sales are greater than physical sales were. So that's why it's creative destruction. When Sunsplash stops production, and then 84, their first cassette came out, VHS cassette came out, and those weren't even a category in recorded music for another 5 years. Now we're going to talk about Sunsplash the firm and Sunsplash the brand. The firm has not had the resources to pursue copyright infringement on the internet. So here's the original negotiated festival footage. It's been now bootlegged. Most of the artist contracts have been lost or damaged, especially Superstorm Sandy in 2012. So due diligence for takedown notices is too costly. Most importantly, we've been focusing on archiving, restoring, digitizing the original source of value, which is takes some time to turn it into metadata, to digitize it, and then also to turn it into metadata. Sunsplash, the brand itself, has benefited from the digital revolution because of the intrinsic value of bootlegs. Bootlegs create imitative or homage value for brands and artists. It must be good if it's bootleg. Arai and Kinukawa, 2013, have a paper on user imitation as value creation. And then the long tail of digitization has kept Sunsplash the brand viable by making it present. Millions of people know about Sunsplash then would not have known about Sunsplash had there not been the bootlegs. So that's a form of free marketing for the brand itself. And the artists also have positive spillovers, such as psychic income through the moral rights of having their work available. It may be that in the Reggae Sunsplash case, the moral rights of making artist performances available are greater than the expected economic benefits of intellectual property rights enforcement.